Leaders, real life leaders.
Hey guys, welcome to today's episode. And I'm so excited. We've got an amazing guest here today. He was in senior leadership at Cognizant. He was in senior leadership at Microsoft. He's written an amazing book called Play It Full, 7 Steps to Unlock Your Extraordinary Career. And we are going to be talking about all kinds of things, but one of the main things that we're going to talk about is just how to get a fundamental shift in your mindset to get yourself to the next level. We're going to be talking about your inner circle. We're going to be talking about 5 levels of identity. And we are so excited to have Kapil Kulshreshtha. Did I say that right?
Oh, you got absolutely right.
Oh my gosh. All right. So Kapil, please tell us, we really want to focus on getting that fundamental shift in our leadership. And so I know you've helped a lot of people do that. I want to talk about some really practical things that they can do to get that fundamental shift in your mindset.
Absolutely. So I think Chantel, to start with, this is one thing which is really, I'm really passionate about is that as all of us are living through our life, our career, we all have big dreams, big ideas, big vision. But what happens with time is that we get really caught up in this cycle of the corporate life, this entire stress about I need to get to the next level, I need to get to the next level. And we start following this definition of success. Now, at any point of time, whatever I'm saying doesn't mean that calm down and don't do anything, don't be ambitious. In fact, on the contrary, I want to tell people this starting point is that whatever dreams they have got, if there is one thing, if there's one thing they must keep in mind is that they can have it all. And that's the core of my book. That's the core of my being. What it means is that you can have absolutely fantastic health in terms of your energy, your physical health and everything. You can have absolutely fantastic relationships with yourself and the world, with everybody. And you can actually have a strong sense of achievement and purpose and meaning and make good money. That's the entire premises. And to come to that specific point about what is the fundamental shift that we need, it's that I can actually have it all. I do not have to compromise. And that's the core of what I will talk about.
Wow. I think that is really good because I've heard people say a lot of times, like, they're like, well, maybe I should sell my business because my health isn't that good. It's affecting my relationships because I'm working too much. So maybe I should kind of give all that up because I want to focus on my health or because I want to focus on my relationships. And what I'm hearing you say is, if you can change your mindset, then you can say, there's no reason why I can't have good health, good relationship, and have a good career. I actually can have all 3, which is really, really a great mindset to have. So what does someone need to do to be able to kind of shift their mindset? Let's say that is their mindset. They're saying, my health is terrible right now. I'm working way too much. I'm spending too much time at work. I'm stressed. So I need to kind of give this up and put all my energy in my health and my relationships.
Absolutely. And look, Chantal, it's not something which I just talk about. It's something that I have done. At 45, I changed my life, completely got rid of my excess weight. I changed my career. I changed my relationship. Now at 50 years of age, I know the way I'm taking care of myself in every single way across this triangle of life of my health, my relationship, and achievement. So the very first thing has to be that I can do it. It has to be done. It's a priority. Any coach, anybody in the world, any conversation, anybody or whatever you listen to, is not going to change it unless you have that leverage in yourself that I want it all. So that very first thing, very first step is to say, I really want it all and I can have it all. How is not something I'm going to worry about at this stage. First, I want it. That's the first thing. And once that thing is not just motivational, but actually in their heart that, yes, I can have it. The second thing is then to start figuring out who is it that has done it? Who are the other people who have done it? And then reaching out to them and starting the conversation. When I talk to people, I always ask them this question that, what do you think comes first, clarity or action? And people say clarity comes first. Without action, you can't get clarity, because in my own mind, I can make stories and I can reject all the personal thoughts. So that's the second thing. And I must know that I have to start taking powerful action. As for Tony Robbins, there are different level of mastery you can have. You can have a knowledge mastery, which is I know it all. You can have the emotional mastery, which is I feel it. But unless you have physical mastery, unless you have action mastery, you can't get it. And that's the third thing, which is I need to do something. I need to take an action. I must do it now. Once these three core elements are in place of knowing that, deciding that I can have it all, and knowing that I have to do it now and having taken actions, then they can start the journey. So that's the very, very first thing they have to do.
So let's talk about practically. I'm going to give you an example of, let's say that someone says, okay, the number one thing that I'm hearing of the CEOs that I'm talking with is that they're all saying, we're having trouble hiring leaders. We're
Yep.
having trouble finding people. And it's just putting so much stress and weight on me because I'm taking on three people's jobs because, it's so hard to find people right now. And balancing also having to give people raises, paying them more money. You're still charging kind of the same amount of money. Maybe they're making, so now their margins aren't in a right place. So it is adding a lot of stress. So what would you say to that person that says, well, that sounds good, right? Like, okay, fine. I say, you can have it all. You can have great health. You can have great relationships, but I want you to break it down so it's really practical to say,
Yes.
okay, pretend like that's the person. They're saying, I'm stressed. I'm taking on too much. I'm working too much. What do I do to have that shift?
Beautiful. You've just nailed it appropriately, because it's not about hiring, it's about who they are fundamentally. Is that a person whose identity currently is married to this is what I'm supposed to do? Is that person fundamentally thinking that I just only need this? So, one of the core concepts that I work with people is identifying their inner circle, because a lot of things that we do are all about achieving this stuff. I want to get there. It's about want. I want this. So, therefore, I take these direct three actions and I get there. Instead of that, the more I can understand what my inner circle is. And I talk about how do you get to the inner circle. So I think best maybe if I take an example, Shinto, because this is something which is going to be like pertinent to them. And it doesn't matter what level people are at, because it's applicable for all senior level people. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Yes. So look, there was this person who was a senior leader, director level person at a very large Fortune 100 company. It's a bank. And this guy was in a senior level role. He became a director when he was 33-year old. And then for 8 years, he was completely stuck. He had exactly the same challenge, which is how do I surround myself with the best people who can help me be successful? What do I do with my time? My health is really, really getting impacted. I'm not able to spend time with my young family and a whole lot of stuff. But his entire focus was only in solving this career related problem, which is how do I get to the next level? Does it take a great resume? Does it take great connection? Does it take right, right type of conversation? Does it take me building my brand? So the focus was on a very superficial level. And we started working together. And in 3 weeks period, few things happened. A, he said I dropped my kid, and he lives in Phoenix, Arizona. He said, I dropped my kid to this particular swimming lesson, and I went up to like you take your car directly to this mountain top, and I went there and I picked up my program diary, and I was looking at it and I started laughing because I realized why is that Kapil was saying that I was thinking too small, and I thought about that if I won't be a VP. He also noticed changes in the family. Why his son said, Dad, you're different. And well, he finished the entire journey with me. 4 months later, he got the top three awards in the organization, which is Chairman's Award, President's Award, and the Innovation Award. Another 2 months later, he became a vice president, and he went into completely different division from where he was. From platform services, he moved to data warehousing AI, where he had no pre-education, no certificates. To top it off, 1 year and 2 months later, now he was being tapped by the chief delivery officer of Amex and saying we should talk about your next level, which is the CP. Now, how does this kind of change happen? How does a person become an owner of their time? How does a person become completely stuck for 8 years to really get to that level when, the only person in the history of entire company to get those 3 awards and the promotion? The company has probably hired and removed 10 million people in its lifetime. It's like very, very large company. How does that happen? It does not happen by tactics and strategy. It happens by finding the inner circle. And that is how you find inner circle. You have to go at different level of where we are. Now, I can talk about the 5 levels unless you have any questions about that story and that thing. I can talk about how does it change happen? How does one discover their inner circle and completely shift their mindset like a rocket fuel?
And now a word from our sponsor, Canzel Realty. Run your business your way, only at Canzel Realty. You can have all the freedom with none of the standard real estate red tape. If you're an agent, you get to run the show however you want and be your own boss. If you want to launch a team, you don't have to jump through all the hurdles and holdups. From day one, you'll have tons of tools and perks to offer your team. Powerful real estate tech like KV Core, Brokerment, and Skyslope. If you want to be your own brokerage or already have your own brokerage, that's not a problem either. You'll still get to run it however you want. All Canzel requires is a small Powered by Canzel logo next to yours. You can be the broker, you can be the manager, and you get to determine splits. You get all the tech, admin support, ownership stock, and revenue share, but most importantly, all the freedom, all the time, only at Canzel Realty.
I love that. So let's kind of break it down. I want to talk more about this inner circle.
Yeah.
So when you say inner circle, I want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Are you saying, I always talk about this as well because I think it's so important, but we're talking about okay, my 5 people that I'm spending the most time with, then we're talking about the next, if it's kind of like the rings of Saturn, we've got our 5 people we spend the most time with, then the 10, then 15, then 20, and so forth. So how do we, if the people that we're hanging out with right now, I want to talk about our business kind of our business inner circle and our personal inner circle, and how do we improve that and change that?
Yeah. Beautiful. When I said inner circle, what I meant was in here first, and then 5 people, rule, and other things. So first is who I am. What am I? What are my core values? What do I value most? What am I best at? Am I doing what I'm best at? Whatever I'm doing, is it aligned with who I am? Because while we can exert it out in terms of we can go external, first is what is in here. Because if I can find those 5 people and become part of that proximity, it's not even feasible unless I know what I am. Most of us find these people based on our work environment, our business environment. Most of us find it based on the kind of area we live in or the amount of money we make. We don't find it based on who we are. So when I look at that, while I'm 100% aligned with you on the inner circle and business circle and everything, what is my core value? Is this person, like for instance, for Kapil, it's impossible to hang out with a person who is not a high energy person. It's not possible for me because I'm extreme high energy. I cannot do that. And there's some people who need calmness around them, and they will probably not want to hang around with me, even if they're amazing and I'm a good guy as well. So first is that what is my core value? My core value of authenticity, my core value of having it all, my core value of energy, my core value of 100% trust no matter what happens. So you find the core value, and then it comes about that, okay, what's my proximity? I believe that at that particular point of time, making a little deliberate effort, but it'll be a lot more easier to find those people, find the tribe of 5 people. And then the question comes about, okay, in that tribe of people, you're not the bottom, you're not the top, but you're learning from them, those 5 people. You're your 33% of your time is being spent in learning from them, absorbing from them, implementing them. 33% of the time is in sharing with people at the same level. And 33% remaining time, 34% time is being spent in pulling up people. So you hold somebody's hand, you go walk with somebody else, somebody at times, and then you pull somebody else up. In business or in personal life, you want to have those 5 people around you. Marry it with the actual core of who you are and let it happen automatically. That's what I would call actually true convergence with the people that you spend time.
But where are you finding these people? So a lot of people are saying like, it's not like I can just wump up a new circle, So
Yeah.
they're like, well, it's, I want to go out to lunch. And so it's like, okay, what's the first step to get this new circle of friends that you want to hang out with?
Great. So the step number 0 is to figure out my own inner circle. And step number 1 is to actually go out and meet people. Now, there are multiple ways in today's world post-COVID, which is create your brand out there. I've got around 20,000 connections on LinkedIn. Now, all of this content that I put on every single day, the videos and the content that I share my story, has created an image about me out there in the marketplace. There's some people who are going to get attracted towards me. And the moment they do, I reach out. The moment I feel that, oh, these people are sharing similar content, they're like me, I go to LinkedIn, I put comment on their post, and if it feels like it, reach out to them and have a conversation with them. So that's the second point, which is never saying no to a conversation. Whenever it's possible, just have a conversation. Third, yes, you can join the business clubs. Yes, you can join different groups of, men in Sydney or women in Sydney and all of it. But more importantly, go there to build experiences. And if you hit it off, then let it happen. A lot of people, when they're trying to build it up, they're way too deliberate about it. And there's this entire concept of putting my best foot forward, which never works. It might have worked in past, but now it never works because if I'm basically this high energy guy on LinkedIn, but when I meet people, I'm very deliberate because that group happens to be like that, then I'm just going to shoot myself off in the foot. That's how you find it. That's how I found it. Never saying no to things. Never saying no to people. Never saying no to meeting somebody. You never know, and let it happen. One of the core idea of everything about inner circle, Chantel, that I kind of follow is that the principle of synchronicity, the law of attraction. When I meet people, we're both of us unfolding a string, and that string is going to create some connection. And if I let go of the string becomes empty. They let go of the strings, and we'll probably never connect the way we could. So that's the point when talking to people. Let it happen. See what are the common grounds, and be very honest about it. Say, hey, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is who I am. The more you operate from inner circle, the easier it becomes. I know I changed my set of people, my proximity completely after I became coach, because however much I love those people, I know the kind of conversation that I want to have with people could happen with somebody else. And it completely changed the way I think about it. Join masterminds, do programs, join paid mastermind. See who you hit it up, see who you align with. The more we put ourselves out there, the more we'll attract people. And we will find those 5 people, 6 people, whoever that we want to spend time with time. It's not something that could happen just like that.
I think the business masterminds are really important, especially, for leaders. I think that, the Vistage or the EO, those mastermind groups are crucial to kind of finding people that you can kind of connect with and kind of, can meet with. Anything else practically that you can come up with that would help meet people besides those business mastermind
Yeah,
things.
yeah, definitely. So one thing is what you value. So for me, I value growth and contribution as a huge thing. What it means is that I'm constantly going to grow myself. What it means is I'm going to be attending programs. In fact, I'm in the US right now. I flew down from Sydney to US to attend a specific 5,000 people session for 4 days in Orlando. And it's basically run by a person whose value I align with. And there'll be 5,000 people. There'll be like speakers from across the world. I will meet people out there. So when you invest in yourself to do programs and you meet people, this is not a business mastermind. It's basically, 5,000 people is too big a mastermind. It's a program that you're attending. Talk to people around you, talk to strangers, go out and have lunch with them. And these are completely total strangers, but they're all aligned with similar values. They all are entrepreneurs who are hustling, who are making it big or small. And these people are vulnerable. They do not have to worry about being judged. So that's the type of people that you meet. And when you meet them, when you go to these programs, just having a quick lunch, a conversation in a corridor can just change your entire game. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah. And I think kind of figuring out what your niche is really important. Like finding, who you want to spend time with, first clarifying that. Like, here's all the things. Like, I know before I got married to my husband, I literally made a list and I said, here's all the things I want in a husband. And I mean, he comes really close on all of those things because I literally wrote it down. And then starting with that and saying, okay, here's all the things I want in a group of friends. And then kind of saying, okay, now let's brainstorm ways that I can get there. So I love that.
Yeah. So I think it aligns so well with what I'm saying. When you wrote it down, actually what you primarily got to is your inner circle. If your friends are not celebrating your wins, if your friends are not sharing your joys, but just sharing only pain, there's a problem. If your friends are only to a certain camp, then it's a problem. They need to be able to celebrate the joys and the wins and as well as help you out when you're stuck and everything. So that's how you find. So very well said.
Yeah. Well, this has been great. I've so enjoyed my time with you. Tell listeners where they can find you, where they can follow you, and how they can get a copy of your amazing book.
Cool. So look, if they just go to LinkedIn and look for Kapil Kulshreshtha, play it full, then they'll find me. If they are able to, and for those people, for your listeners, basically who want to get my book, if they just go to playitfull.com/download my audiobook. If they just go there, let me just ensure that this is correct. Just 1 second. If they just go to,
I'll put all of that. I'll put it all in the show notes because it'll be easier because your name is hard to find, pronounce and spell.
Yeah.
And so that's what we'll do, folks. We will put all of this information. It'll be super easy. We'll put all of it. We'll put your LinkedIn in there. We'll put the Amazon link for your book. If you look for Play It Full and look at it in the Amazon link, we'll put all of that in the show notes so it'll make it easier for people to find. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Sounds good. The only thing is that for your audience, I'm just giving away my audio free version of my audio.
How do they do that?
Yeah. So it is not launched currently. So it's only for your audience. It is, and I'll give you that link as well, but it's playitfull.com/download my audiobook. That's it.
So let me repeat that. It's playitfull.com/download my audiobook.
That's it.
That's right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I am so excited and I've so enjoyed my time with you. Thanks so much for being with us. And you guys stay tuned. We've got another episode coming up in just a few. Bye-bye for now.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Real Life Leadership. If you'd like to get the show notes or access more resources, log on to reallifeleaders.com/podcast to get the show notes from this episode and any other resources we might have mentioned. And also, we'd love to hear from you. Be sure to review or rate this podcast on Apple Podcasts to help spread the word. And if you have any leadership questions you want answered, email podcast@reallifeleaders.com.